From the national newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Karen Rebo. Prime Minister Mark Carney leaves today for a 10-day visit to India, Australia, and Japan. It's his first international trip since his headline-making speech in Davos that called for middle powers to band together to navigate a rupture in the world order. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is set to give a speech today, laying out his party's vision for the relationship between Canada and the U.S.
Poilievre's speech to the Economic Club in Toronto follows the U.S. trade czar calling on Canada to accept higher tariffs. U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer told CBC that if Canada wants a trade deal with the U.S., it would also have to help return American industries to the U.S. and allow more American access to its dairy market. Conservative MP Michael Barrett told reporters in Ottawa yesterday that Conservatives want to see an end of sectoral tariffs on things like steel, aluminum, automobiles, lumber, and cabinetry. Rob Westgate, The Canadian Press.
It looks like indirect talks between Iran and the U.S. have started in Switzerland at the Omani diplomatic residence in Geneva. Trump wants a deal to constrain Iran's nuclear program. A woman will be back on the stand in a Toronto courtroom today, a day after testifying she lived with lasting fear after billionaire businessman Frank Stronach sexually assaulted her decades ago. Now 73, she testified through tears at times that the experience in 1986 made it difficult to trust others and that she became a social recluse and didn't report the allegation to police for 20 years. Stronach, the 93-year-old founder of Magna International, has pleaded not guilty to 12 charges in alleged attacks on 7 complainants dating back to the 70s. Bill and Hillary Clinton are slated to testify in a congressional investigation into the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Behind closed doors, Hillary Clinton will appear today before U.S. House lawmakers in Chappaqua, New York. Her husband, the former president, is expected to be deposed tomorrow. Here's ABC's Nicole D'Antonio.
Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle had threatened to hold the former first couple in criminal contempt of Congress after they initially refused to testify in person. But in the end, they agreed. The Clintons have long denied they knew of any criminal conduct by Epstein or his associate, Ghislaine Maxwell. They say they cut ties with Epstein before his crimes came to light and have not been accused of any wrongdoing.
The Alberta government says it hopes its new education budget of nearly $11 billion will show understanding for teachers on the heels of that massive strike last year. Education Minister Dimitrios Nikolaides says this investment, if passed, shows the government has been listening.
We had probably the largest expression of teacher voices just a few months back. And so we were able to listen carefully to some of those concerns.
This is the Canadian Press. In sports, 5 Canadian hockey teams will hit the ice in the NHL tonight for the second night back since the Olympic break. Last night, the Oilers blew a 4-2 lead in the third and fell 6-5 to Anaheim, whose coach, Joel Quenneville, became only the second in history to win 1,000 games. Winnipeg edged Vancouver 3-2 in overtime, and the Toronto Maple Leafs fell 4-2 to Tampa Bay. The Professional Women's Hockey League returns to action tonight following its Olympic break, and the Montreal Victoire will visit the New York Sirens. In the NBA, the Toronto Raptors led by as many as 15 points, but couldn't beat the red-hot San Antonio Spurs. The Spurs winning their 10th in a row, edging the Raptors 110 to 107. And the Toronto Blue Jays and the 41-year-old Max Scherzer have reportedly reached an agreement on a 1-year deal for the 3-time Cy Young Award-winning pitcher worth $3 million. From the Canadian Press, I'm Karen Rebo.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.